Where on earth is Kane McAullife? I'm sure is the question that we're all asking based on the changes for this week. Thought we'd do a video just to talk about the ins and outs for round 4 against the Lions. Out, obviously, Rhyan Mansell, the 3-week suspension did stick, even though that could be a whole other video topic that we could talk about why that was complete bullshit, but we won't do that today. We'll save that for another time. But he will miss 3 weeks. He did look a little bit banged up anyway. He has copped some big knocks the last few weeks. So maybe it's not the absolute worst thing for him to have a little bit of time off. Although I'm glad we appealed initially, and I'm actually surprised we didn't re-appeal, to be honest. But again, a different time. As for the inclusion, Sam Banks comes back in after exiting concussion protocol. And that is the only change for the week, which I think a lot of us thought was a bit surprising after an 82-point loss. I know we're probably going to cop some big losses along the way, but I think a few of us maybe thought there'd be a couple of other forced changes. In particular, Kane McAullife, who has done really, really well at VFL level the last few weeks. I think he had 28 disposals one week and about 29 in the other week. He didn't play the last quarter last week as he was a carryover player for the AFL team. And he is not named as an emergency even for the AFL team this week. And I was initially up in arms as well, but I did receive a message advising that it seems like that Kane has picked up a minor niggle, which is why he hasn't been named as emergency or selected for AFL. But I guess we'll find out today. If he's picked for the VFL team, then maybe there's not so much truth in that. But if he's not picked for the VFL, then it would seem to align that he maybe has a bit of a niggling injury that they're being a bit cautious about. In terms of other players who are maybe a little bit lucky, this isn't a shot at these players in particular, but more just in terms of form lines and maybe rotating it around a little bit. I do think that Harry Armstrong and Bauer maybe were going to come under consideration too. Just in that second half against St Kilda, they just didn't really fire a shot. And against Brisbane Lions, who've got a very, very good and solid defensive unit, we're going to kind of need everyone firing and everyone making their defender accountable, being dangerous and things like that. And I know they can sometimes only be as good as the delivery from the midfield, which wasn't great, it must be said. I think we just need to see a bit more than 2 or 3 handballs from those guys. And it's an inexperienced thing, and you know, Harry could be getting a bit tired after the first few games. It's a big, big job he's been asked to do. Like, he's going to be exhausted having to wrestle and duke it out with these big defenders after just playing, you know, coach league. It's a big step up. So that's not at all a slight on him. It's just how it plays out with the younger bodies. But we've got Tom Sims and Jonty Fall who are doing some okay things in the VFL. It sounds like Sims could be at the top of the list just because he can dual ruck and play forward, which is handy. But what's been interesting with how our lineup has been written anyway is it's got Jacob Blight starting on the bench rather than starting as a defender. And I'm thinking this is a little bit because of what Uze said in his post-game presser about Blight needing to second ruck, but not wanting to take him from the back line to be able to do so. So maybe we'll see Blight come off the bench and play a forward role and then go into the ruck. And we'll just, have Miller down there on Eric Hipwood. So it's going to be interesting to see how we structure up for that. I think that's going to play a big part in not falling apart so quickly, because moving Blight really did mess up our defensive structure horribly, and we got exposed pretty badly, amongst a whole raft of other things. But look, they are the changes for the week. In, Sam Banks out, Rhyan Mansell. McAullife apparently injured, so let's not worry about him not getting a game because of form or because Uze doesn't like him or anything like that. I don't think it's anything that sinister. But we'll see what happens for the VFL squad today. Speaking of, Josh Smiley almost certainly going to play his first VFL game for the club. And I dare say that Punt Road at 11:05 tomorrow is going to be jam-packed for people to see him play. Super exciting. Look, whether he gets 5 touches, 4 touches, 10 touches, whatever it might be, it's just really, really good to see him playing some sort of footy after a really long pre-season and probably a frustrating one for him. So all the best to Josh Smiley making your footy debut, albeit at VFL level, but I'm sure it won't be long until you're up in the senior ranks. Given how good of a player you were at coach level, hopefully that all transfers across and we'd love to see a dominant display and just straight in next week. But just good to have him on the park. They are the changes. Let us know in the comments below. Who would have your changes been? Would you have gone a few more changes? Are you happy with trying to keep a settled side because there's an element of consistency that maybe is needed as well? There's going to be lots of different points of views on this, so I'm keen to hear what you all think in the comments. Let us know, and hopefully we can get a nice game out of everyone tomorrow. We can see some more green shoots, and hopefully we can just be ultra competitive for 4 quarters. But with that said, until the next one, go Tigers.